All right, we're going to do our lapped zipper with facing sample. So the first thing we're going to do is close off the bottom of our sample below our zipper, 3/4 of an inch seam allowance. We've got a notch there to tell us where the bottom of the zipper is. And so this is just regular stitch length. And then the next thing we'll do is attach our facings. So we have these two little facings. And where our sample pieces have 3/4 of an inch allowance at what we're going to refer to as center back. So this is like the back, the right, and the left. Our little facings only have 1/4 of an inch allowance. So they don't quite match up in length, but just match your notches there and you're good. For the right side, and this will be the underlap of the lapped zipper, the side with the stitching that you don't see, you want to fold the fabric of your sample back with like 1/8 of an inch between the notch and the fold. So we're only seeing 5/8 of an inch right there. And then you can fold this guy back essentially on center back, should work. So that we have 1/8 of an inch gap. So I'll get him folded and then, so just the tiniest difference in the two folds. So they started off right sides together and then everything's folding back this way. And now we'll join at 1/4 of an inch and just stitch across all those folds. So when you turn it out, you should have the slightest difference there, which is good. On the other side, the left, we line them up again, but this time you fold the fabric right on the notch, so right on center back at this side, and I'm gonna pin it. And then we want about a 3/8 of an inch gap between the folds. So you end up folding back more of the facing. It's about right there. And again, just stitch across at 1/4 of an inch. So yeah, well now we've got a bigger gap, and I'll just have to turn that corner well at the pressing station. So let's go press. All right, so we'll press this on. I still need to come down here and get that guy, but I'll do more in a minute. Press this on. We want to press the seam towards the facing. Oh, too much sunlight. Should we go to the other ironing board? It's fine. And let me see if I can do any better with these points. That one was okay. This one could use some help. Yeah, that's better. Make sure that stays pressed down there. Okay, back to the sewing. We want to understitch our facings because just get in that habit. This time you're not going to be able to get like all the way in the whole seam, which is fine. Just kind of do what's comfortable, you know, do as much as you can, but don't try so hard to get everything that you end up making a mess. All right, now we're ready. So understitching, remember, is about 1/8 away from the seam. So in this case, it's just kind of down the middle of the seam allowance. And it's stitching the seam, all seam allowances towards the facing, onto the facing. So this won't show from the face of the garment, from the right side. And this guy. So that's close enough. And my next step is to get ready to put in my zipper. So I'll baste my zipper close it, you know, this part together. Still at 3/4. Now it gets tricky up here and we won't be able to get all the way to the edge, and that's okay. We'll do as far as we can, kind of like the understitching. I'm still trying to keep these cut edges together and just make sure I'm at the 3/4, you know, right on center back, if you will. And I made it to within 1 inch for sure. I definitely want to double check that these are lining up. I wouldn't want it to end up something like that or the other way, but I'm good there. Okay, we got to switch feet now to get our zipper on. And I guess we need to go press, don't we? So now it's lapped zipper review. We're going to the underlap side. We'll stitch first. So we'll turn our zipper face down. And I'm just going to let the bottom hang off here, but I'll get the stop to within 1/8 or so of the top there. And I'm going to get those teeth right against my basted seam. It helps if you catch everything when you pin. There we go. All right. And remember, we're going just through the seam allowance, not through any of the actual like garment part. And we baste down the middle of the zipper tape. Again, yeah, you might not be able to get all the way up to the edge with the basting because things are already stitched closed up here. That's fine. I have to take out a couple of those stitches. There. All right. Back to the iron. You remember this step where we press it like this, and then we'll stitch. It's hard for you probably with this dark fabric to see where my basted seam is, but it's right there. So I'll just do an edge stitch on that fold. And see, without basting all the way up, I'm still good. I'm going to go on and move that pull out of the way. The other thing I'm going to try to accomplish when I do this stitch is catch this top edge folded down, and maybe even I can look into getting the facing caught down there too. It's a little offset, but hopefully it'll work. I want to keep it in position there. I'm going to kind of angle that end so that it hides in there. So we'll see how we do. So this is regular stitch length now. Yeah, I didn't quite catch it. I got it like in one stitch. I'll come back and get it by hand. Trim all those away. I did get the top kind of caught down there though. All right. Still no visible stitches on the face, which is what we're going for. And the last step is to do the other stitch. Again, I can try to fold some of this down. I can even sort of stitch it just on its own so that I can stop fussing with it. All right, maybe that'll hold it there. That's folded back. All right. So where we couldn't baste it together, we just need to be mindful because we don't want to have it gapping once it's all done. So maybe I even secure it with a pin here. And then I can do my stitch. Fortunately, I won't be able to move the zipper pull out of the way. We'll see if this can get caught. Let's go now. Not wanting to move. Come on. Finally. Alright, so where do I? Yep, right here. All right, so far so good. All that's left is to remove the basting stitch and then see how it operates. Double check that we're still sort of concealing everything up here. It all looks good. Make sure I've caught all my raw edge. I don't want to see any of the seam allowance edge peeking out here, so that's good. This guy did get caught down, and that's where I was kind of not moving for a minute. And I can come and just do a little hand catch on this to keep it in place.